From the top rope, this is the Squared Circus.
Square! Ah! That's the occult phenomenon.
You know what I think?
Recording in progress.
I realize I like paint.
That was a botch. Hold on.
So, anyway, that's how it's gonna go.
This mess that we're about to record, we can't really make any criticisms about anybody else after
I know
how much trouble we had just getting this fucking recording to work. Anyway, this whole thing started. I messaged Richie this morning. Hey, you didn't miss anything with Rampage. I'm reading this message verbatim. You didn't miss anything with Rampage. There was a segment with Acclaimed and Swerve, but it was incredibly stupid. That's how it all started. We were both too busy last night to watch most of the show, so I watched it this morning. You never got around to watching it.
Yeah,
and
I just
so
saw
I
the
was
clip.
basically like, I'll save you the trouble because it was a bunch of nothing and one thing that was too stupid to watch. Now, in my head, I thought this was the dumbest thing I've seen on AEW in 3 years. And then as soon as I say that to you, you're like, I don't know, everybody liked that Swerve thing. And all of a sudden, like, my mind just goes, wait, what? Like, I'm living in the Twilight Zone. Like, did we watch the same thing? Did I like wake up in an alternate universe? Because you don't realize I'm watching it and think like, oh, this isn't going to go over well. And fortunately, they'll never do this again because fans are not going to like this. They liked it. I'm in the minority. A lot of people didn't like it, but most people did.
Well, my thing with that is
before you say your thing with that, I just described the thing I'm talking about specifically was on Rampage, Swerve did a sort of cinematic horror movie style segment where he's kidnapped Billy Gunn and he's going to torture him with pliers. Continue.
one of my arguments with that was like, first of all, you don't like horror things anyway, so that you're never gonna like that.
I don't like horror things. I don't like cinematic shit in wrestling.
So
ever.
But
I fucking
people
hate
do.
it.
I mean, Undertaker, all this stuff was all cinematic. So there is a lot of people who do like that. I personally didn't. I thought the segment was a little forced, but I could see why people would like it, just because one of the biggest things that people always complain about, and we complain about, is there's no storytelling. All it is really is like you get like a 10-20 second promo, like I'm going to beat you up. And I know multiple people said this too, but we've been talking about this for a long time too. We're like, there's no build up for anything.
Right.
And I think I said it multiple times that Keith Lee and Swerve, their build between the whole, like one's going to turn or this and that, whatever, like everything has been perfect for me. I feel like this is going to be just another time where, Swerve is doing this whole evil horror type shit thing though, but at the same time I feel like it's just more storytelling and more pieces to the puzzle that at least it's prolonged. It's not this normal shit that we get with AEW where it's like one and done, next one and done, you got, you know what I'm saying? It's been going like a slow burn with Swerve, like another character of Swerve. So like at least it's been like a continuing on story, and we don't see a lot of that besides MGF. Where else do you really see that a lot of?
You don't see it often, and I do like that about what they've been doing with this whole story, but this to me was a whole different story out of left field. It's completely incongruent with the story they were telling. All of a sudden, it's a horror movie after over a month. This is fucking, I don't know. To me, it's just like there's already a story there. Okay, for a couple of reasons, just in terms of like whether or not this works in terms of storytelling, like there's already a story. The story was going great. This is a different feel, a different vibe, a whole new part of the story, not to take it in a different direction, just like one more segment that was, I think, an unnecessary step, and it just changed the whole feel of what they were doing up to now. It was a campy, fun, goofy thing. Now all of a sudden it's like hyper serious horror.
But you go by one segment and you don't know, like for instance, I thought like he was just doing it where he broke his fingers or whatever he pretended to do just so he can't scissor them anymore. So like
that's probably true. And if
you don't know,
if it ends up being a goof, then I'll
because this is
I'll
just
say,
one
okay,
segment. This is
that's
just one
cool.
segment, so we have no idea where it's going to come to. I mean, because they're supposed to do that stupid. Because I was even criticizing the Billy Gunn's Scissor and Bash Day or whatever the fuck it was called this Wednesday, because that's this
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they're gonna just keep on overdoing this. But then, like, at least when you did this with Swerve, when he did this part, I'm like, okay, I think it was more so of seeing the differences between Lee and Swerve more than anything. And I think that they're just adding more pieces to that puzzle. Like, because Swerve was, I'm sorry, Lee was like, I don't, what's going on here? This is not me. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like a little bit more where you might have taken it a little too seriously that it's gonna be completely all horror type shit. I don't think so. I think it's just gonna be.
It could be a
like,
goof.
Even if it's not goofy, even if it's just like he broke his fingers, they found him because he's supposed to be there on Wednesday. So who knows what they're gonna do on Wednesday?
And it could have been just like horror. It could have been just like a Halloween theme thing, which to me also would have just been corny. Just do like a funny Halloween thing then, but like, or do it somewhere else. But to me, like, don't just add a new, completely different tone to the story that's already been going on for a long time. And yeah, maybe it's a goof. Maybe they're trying to do a sort of like campy, trauma type of like self-aware B movie theme thing.
It's
but
not
like
really though a different direction though, because I mean, pretty much what he said was, and I'm like, yes, I get the whole segment. Because don't get me wrong, I thought the segment felt forced, but it was Billy Gunn who cost him the match anyway, so he's taking it out on him, and that was the whole reason why he wanted to do this. So this we're here, maybe he can help them win. Like, so it's still part of the storyline. But
you can do all the same shit without having it completely change the tone of it, without all of a sudden making it look like it's an indie B film. You can do it. You can have him attack Billy Gunn. And also another element, there's 3 elements to this that I just don't like. There's the cinematic element. I don't like them. I don't understand. I will never understand.
But a lot of people like them though.
Yeah. What they did
that's what I'm saying.
What is it? Oh my God, Darby. I forget all the people involved. Darby and Sting versus Cage and was it Hobbs a couple of years ago in a cinematic match? Unwatchable. Fucking cringe. And then the other thing though I don't like is like, what enough with the kidnapping? They haven't done it in a while, but there's probably been like 5 kidnappings in AEW in 3 years. It's just there's a stupid angle.
Well, again, I think the thing felt forced, but again, it almost comes across of like it's almost one of those things where I want to see where it goes, just because it's only been one skit, and regardless, like I enjoy, because one of my favorites is Bray Wyatt, where he's all about cinematic, he's all about horror skits, and he's like the top person right now that everyone's talking about. So there is like a shit ton of people who do like it.
A lot of people like it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I get it why they would maybe try to see if they've done it right, because a lot of people do like it.
Yeah, but to me, it's like it didn't fit here. I mean, you even said it felt forced. Even when the Acclaimed came out, it's like it took me a minute to like wrap my head around like, what are they doing here? What are they trying to explain to us? Like there was too much, like it really felt, the whole thing felt shoehorned in, and there was like too much like exposition, like this is why we're here. But what happened to Billy Gunn? And none of it worked. And they could have just had Swerve attack Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn could have come out for whatever reason and could have got jumped by Swerve. I mean, there's a million ways they could have done it that didn't have to feel forced, that didn't have to change the whole vibe of the whole story up to now, to just put this completely different type of thing in the middle of this other story. And like, listen, there's other cinematic horror type of shit that they do, like the House of Black, and I don't like it, but that's fine. It's one thing and it's on its own, and I can not like that. I love the whole Acclaim thing. I love what they're doing. Why add another thing that's not like part of that aesthetic? Now, to me, it's like, it's one thing to like not like stuff and like, okay, fine, whatever. But when you take the thing that I already like, and I'm sure there's a few people like me who are just like, we like this, we don't necessarily like that thing, but this is the thing that we like, and then to add that thing to it, now you've ruined it for me. Not necessarily yet, but the potential. To me, I'm like, I saw it, and I like I said earlier, okay, this was dumb and weird and cringy. At least I know they'll never do it again. And then the couple hours later, I found that everybody loved it. I'm like, oh my God, does that mean they're going to keep doing this? And they're going to ruin this whole story and this tag team and this whole thing that I love? Like, just keep it separate.
Well, for your benefit is what we know from AEW is they don't continue on doing anything. So
That's fair.
So therefore, you can't really go by that.
Yeah.
Another thing though is even though, like I said, I felt forced, I don't necessarily think I can see why people would think it was like a horror type skit. I don't believe it was totally that. I actually took it a different way. I just took it the fact that he wanted to make it where he's not scissoring or whatever bullshit. Like that's why he broke his fingers. He wanted to make sure he wasn't involved in the match, whatever. So I didn't really take it as it's going to be like a multiple thing going on. We will see on Wednesday, but I feel like it's not going to be a multiple thing. I think it was just going to be a one and done for the storyline. At least they're doing some kind of fucking storyline. What they could have done.
They were already doing a storyline. That's not a reason. The story existed. This didn't have to be done this way.
No, in a way, it's different though. It's something different to it because everything is getting the same shit. You have to admit that everything's just the same routine now, and you have to do something. Try something.
Yeah.
And even though it's not what you like, at least they're trying something. That's all I wanted. Because even I didn't even like it that much, but I'm just glad that they're trying anything because it just seems like it was getting so lame of different promo match.
Yeah, but this was working already. This whole thing was already working. Try something new somewhere else with something that's not working.
Well, it was working, but at the same time, I don't think people wanted. First of all, don't forget. I don't think people wanted them to win over FTR. So now the fans are already mad. So they had to get something going on and they had to do something else to make it to a different level because people were already pissed that FTR lost. So now this is now this is like, okay, we have to take it up a notch.
I haven't heard much. Were people pissed about FTR losing? I mean, I don't look.
I guarantee you they were. Like, why would they? Yeah, because they want them to have the belts there too. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that this is more like, okay, well, we can't just have them beat FTR and do the same old shtick that we did for the past year, or whatever months, whatever it was with them. So like, so they just trying to add.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have had it where like, like he could have beat him up, or maybe like he paid Eddie Kingston to go and actually kidnap for him.
Oh, I see. But you know what? Actually, what I would like if Swerve or somebody, whoever, but in this case, Swerve, if like his gimmick was like, yeah, I'm like a, indie movie buff, and I like to make my own movies, and if it was part of his character, that would be fine. But it didn't feel that way. It just felt like, how do we squeeze this weird Halloween themed thing into this story?
Swerve himself they were given hints that he was going more dark and more a different way anyway. Yeah, so that's why I feel like that this is just him giving more of a show of what he's doing. Like,
but it was more of like, didn't he say in the promo something like, what you also didn't know about me is I like horror movies or something, or making films or something like that. It's just like everything in this segment had to be explained, and it just
that's AEW because they do one fucking skit and done. So now you have to sit there and show everything. I mean that's their own faults, and we've been complaining about that for a while.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, and you have to explain what's going on when people don't know what's going on. But it was obvious. It was obvious. If you were writing this, to me, it would be obvious that like if we have to spell out what we're doing here, if we it's clear to them that when they put this in the show, that it was so out of left field that they had to make Swerve say something about it to make it make sense. That when they had the Acclaimed come in, they had to have them say something about it to make it make sense. And all of it was just forcing this thing in there that didn't fit. It was putting a square peg in a round hole.
It's kind of like the same shit though. When like I complain that they'll do something and I don't know shit from Shinola of what's going on. And I'm like, because they don't explain anything. So now you have it where they either don't explain anything or now they over explain. So it's like they're trying, like I'm telling you, it really all goes down to the booking of, I get what you're saying, but because the reason why I feel that a lot of people like it is because there is a lot of people who like this kind of aspect of it. Yeah. And I think that they're missing that in the promo. So every promo to me, besides MGF in AEW, sounds exactly the same to me. It sounds exactly the same to me. Unless obviously Jericho's great. Jericho makes up his shit. He's like one of the best. But like when you talk about other people, especially newer people there, I know Swerve's not new, but like besides Jericho and MGF, even when Mox does a promo, it sounds like the same exact Mox promo from the previous one. Like they all sound very similar.
Yeah.
So at least this promo was totally different. And I know it's out of left field, but at least it's something fucking different. It's
I mean, in
all
defense
the same
of, in defense of Mox though, and some of these other people, like, yeah, it's too much of the same like promo, but you can't have a home run promo every week. I think Mox never has a bad promo, but when he has a great promo, it does stand out. I mean, we're never going to forget that promo he did a few weeks ago. Where
but that's what I'm saying though, is like his demeanor, his character, his tone, the way he words things, how he like. And I'm not saying bad. I like his promos. I'm not saying I don't. But like to me, besides MGF with the last two of them, even his stuff was starting to sound the same. And I think I said this where his last two was different. And I think that's why people are like some people liked this, because it's just totally fucking different than what we're used to.
Yeah,
because it's something had to change. It's starting to get stale. It's starting to get stale.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't know. I think there's more going on than like where all of it is feeling one note. But it's a whole different topic too, where it's just like, how much do you do different? How much do you keep the same? How much do you do like, well, we know this is what the fans have liked in the past, so we're going to keep doing that. And I like to make comparisons to music a lot. Like, you might love a band. How much do they keep putting out the same album? How many times does a band put out an album where it's just like, oh man, this isn't the same, and fans are down on it because they change their sound? And then how many times does another band put out an album and it's like, man, this is the same album 5 times in a row. I didn't even bother with this one. Like, how do you find Bad Religion, Municipal Waste?
Yeah.
But like, that's a real art. That's not an easy thing to do. What's the balance? How do you
that's
keep
what I'm saying.
Doing what people like, but keep it different enough where you're not diverging too much from what's been tried and worked, but it's different enough to distinguish it from the other things, so it doesn't all feel one note? I mean, that's tough.
He's all over the place, and he shows it with even like, okay, I love Cassie to death, and someone actually made a good point, and one of their comments is that the Atlantic Belt, is that what it's called? The Atlantic fucking Yeah, Atlantic fucking belt. He did a good point. He's like, well, first of all, it's supposed to be from people from all over the place, but now you have Cassie going against Luchasaurus, and like it just seems like even the belt loss is something, And I'm a huge Cassidy fan, and I love the fact that, but it makes sense, because it's like you made this thing so this way here, you could save it where, okay, you're going from people from all over the world to fight for this belt. But now you have a fucking Dino and Cassidy fighting for it. Like so it does seem, it's a good point. It's a good point.
No, it's a very good point. They did a good job establishing it as like a sort of international belt too. They gave it to Pac. Pac disappeared and defended it all over the world.
Yes, and that's
and
where
then he came back, and now that's gone.
Yeah,
Cassidy went and fights Luchasaurus.
To me, it's the same thing where like they just lost their way, where they had more build. I said this multiple times that when they had the storylines with Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Lee, and Swerve on Rampage, and they kept it going on, it was such good, because it was almost a continuation. It was almost like a movie. You're watching, like, you have to watch next week to see what's going on. Yeah. And they just lost that. They lost that where nothing, like, you could literally, I could miss a week and then watch next week, and it'll just be all new shit anyway, because everything's just so quick pace with them. So at least that's one thing I'm really happy about, is that at least that they still have Lee and Swerve as like probably the longest storyline that I've seen so far in AEW. So at least they're still adding more pieces to the puzzle.
And I'll say this too, speaking of like specifically Ricky Starks, somebody who was a mainstay of Rampage, where is he right now? And this also goes to a theme that we've talked about a number of times. Like, if Rampage was better, I probably wouldn't give such a shit about this one bad segment. You have 44 minutes of television,
20 minutes of picture in picture.
Yeah. And like, no, but like 39 of it is not very good. And then 5 of it is to me just like a cringy thing that I didn't like at all.
So it makes
It's
it even worse.
That just makes it worse. I could have forgotten about that if it was 39 minutes
You
of
wouldn't have.
cool shit. I wouldn't have cared at all about one.
No, you would have. You wouldn't have got rid of it.
I probably still would have.
You still
I
would
wouldn't have been.
You still would have been texting me and be like, "Motherfucker, this is mother," just because I know you because you don't like horror and cinematic.
I read
So
I read what I read to you. I said what I said.
I know, but even
I didn't get that
Rampage
heated.
could have been the best show. Could have been the best show ever. And with that one segment, be like, I want to fucking make a because you know what? I can't believe they fucking did this and blah blah blah. You still would have done the same exact.
Don't exaggerate. I read exactly the text that I sent you. Everybody knows what I said. I didn't go on some rant. Then you started trying to defend it, and I was like, buddy.
No, because I am still defending it but what I'm trying to say now, though, is that even if Rampage was so perfect, you still would have sent me that text.
I mean, I would have said something about it.
No, you still would have. Because you tried to say, oh, well, if the whole Rampage was good, I probably would have forget about it. Nah, you would definitely not have forgotten about it.
No, but it would have been different, dude. You know this, though. Come on now. We've talked about this a bunch of times, where when there's a good show and there's one bad thing, it doesn't feel as bad when everything else is around it is
100%. 100%. But this one segment, I know because I just know what you like and don't like. So
Yeah.
I knew for a fact that when I saw it, I'm like, oh man, he's gonna.
Oh really? You knew before?
I knew it exactly from.
See,
dude, you really don't watch Bray Wyatt anymore, and so when you're sitting there, I know, but for you to sit there and say, oh, I don't like cinematic and I don't like horror and I don't like this, knowing that one of my favorite fucking characters in wrestling is Bray Wyatt, you're like. It's kind of hard for me not to to totally agree with you because I love Bray Wyatt.
But I could just not watch that. The whole point is like, I don't watch WWE. A lot of why I stopped watching WWE was like Bray Wyatt was one of the things I just didn't like at the time, and there was a lot of that. And that's just one thing. But like I said earlier, yeah, but it's not for me.
And I get that, but I'm just saying that because it's not for you, it's still for a lot of people. So that's why maybe they're trying, which is be horrible if they're trying to like do something like Bray Wyatt, but maybe they're just trying little things because they realize that, hey, Bray Wyatt is the talk of the town. Let's try to see if Swerve can do something or like do a segment or whatever. It is Halloween weekend too.
Yeah. And again, that's fine. If it was something that I didn't already care about, like I said, this is at the risk of repeating myself. House of Black has a spooky horror cornball fucking cinematic thing, and it's just not my thing. And so okay, and I move on. And I talk about how I don't like it, but I don't like it. Doesn't bother me. This bothered me because it was part of something I already liked. So they took something I liked and added an element to it that I didn't like. So it made me feel like
this. I have to interrupt you. This is not part though of the Acclaimed. This is just part of Swerve's stuff. This is what I feel like you're getting confused. Where I guarantee you, Acclaim is going to be exactly the same thing when they come out and do their whatever. They're going to be the same exact thing. This is almost added on to Swerve and Lee's story to me. And yes, obviously Billy Gunn's there, whatever. So it's not ruining the Acclaimed. It's ruining for you of Swerve, which you didn't really give a shit anyway, one way or another anyway. So do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost his character that you're kind of getting ruined by, not the Acclaimed. They didn't really claim that at all yet.
Part of the whole story, though. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was the same thing with me where I didn't like the whole bullshit when they took the rights out of the scissoring and they can't say this and that. But then, like AEW fashion, it was a one and done deal, and they done it and moved on. So but the claim was still the Acclaimed. You know what I'm saying? So even
but the claim wasn't even the Acclaimed last night, dude. I mean, I don't know if you saw it. Like it was awkward and forced. Like even the Acclaimed coming out, everything about it felt like it didn't fit. It all felt like a square peg in a round hole, to repeat myself.
That is because they make it the day before now. And they say, let's go write this up. And then after it's done, next Wednesday, we're like, how can we fix this? And they'll try to fix it. We all know that they gave up on Rampage. So you got to understand that they just gave up on Rampage. I guarantee you.
I mean, the other side of this is we had a good Rampage recently. We had a Rampage that made it feel like they gave a shit. We're putting some like thought into it and effort into it. And so then for the following week, the Rampage just be kind of nothing.
And they went right back to nothing is what I heard.
Right back to a nothing show.
Yeah. I don't know how much
that's disappointing. That's disappointing. It's just, and it's a theme with AEW, getting your hopes up and then letting you down.
And that's also too is because everyone complains about the book in there and the storylines, and everyone complains about that. But don't forget now Fridays. Now not only are they competing with that they know damn well Bray Wyatt's going to be at the end, which I would think they would try harder because they know that if we're already watching TV, let's all we have to do is click the channel. But I think New Japan was still on. Not that many people. I'm just saying, if they're going to watch a pre-recorded show compared to a live show, most wrestling fans were like, all right, let me watch New Japan then instead because it's $5-6. It's a live show. Hey, here's an idea. Eddie Kingston's fucking on it, so let me go watch that. So maybe they just realized that they what I'm saying. So they just gave up. So I don't lose hope though for this one segment. I think that you're making it into it's going to be multiple segments, and I really don't think so. That's not how so far AEW has not shown that to us.
And again, if they do turn it into a theme for Swerve, and that's his character, I'm an indie film guy who likes to make little, tiny, short horror vignettes, and he does it, and that's his character. That's cool, but I don't want a horror movie in my. Oh my God, are we almost out of time already?
Because I hate you. So I'm just gonna say this is that if Wednesday comes and they fucking make it where he comes out, but he just can't scissors because they broke his fingers, and you had this whole rant for now 31 minutes about a horror stick, and I just stopped my horror movie on Halloween weekend, I'm going to be pissed on the next fucking podcast.
I hope you're pissed because I hope that I'm proven wrong on Wednesday.
You are going to be because AEW has not given me hope of that they just continue on storylines like this. So far, the only thing that they concentrating on that's working is MGF, and even though I love Jericho with his shits, all his stuff is all weird too. They just have matches for no reason, what I'm saying. So I truly believe
there's a lot of stuff that's just for no reason.
No reason. So that's why I feel like that this is just going to be almost a one and done, and you got so worked up for a one and done thing, and then Wednesday's going to come along and you're going to be like, oh my God, I love that fucking scissor and bash.
I didn't get worked up. You got offended at what I said, and we argued about it. Yes, you definitely did.
I didn't get offended.
I said one thing. I said there was a stupid segment. That's all I said. I didn't think I was going to have this big argument that I had to defend my position when you were all like, well, everybody else likes it and cinematic matches and blah, 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 blah. I just thought I was...
Listen, I wasn't saying that to start you up. I read the shit. I was like, oh, wait, let me see what they graded it. And then I realized that they graded it an A. I was like, so I said, I'm like, oh, this is going to go over well. Let me tell him that they graded this an A.
Yeah.
So I sat there and said,
as soon as I said that, you said, yeah, they gave that an A. And I said, they gave it an A, I give it a D.
In my mind, I was like, this is going to be fun. So, oh, look, they made it an A. Yes, they graded it an A. Then let me look at the feedback.
No. Yeah, you can't wind me up on purpose and then blame me, brother.
No, I'm not blaming you. But then I'm like, let me see what the people are saying. Oh, they said it was great. You saw a lot of reviews? I don't know. I'm just saying they said it was great.
Yeah.
Just to see. But no, on a serious note, I think it's going to be fine. I think it's just going to be a one and done. I don't think it's going to be he's going to be kidnapped until all the way to Fallout. Is it Fallout that they play?
All Out.
All Out. Sorry.
All Out. Yeah.
Is that one of their matches?
The match between Swerve and Our Glory and Acclaimed, I think so.
Yeah. So
listen. There's one positive thing out of all this. When this team breaks up, it'll be the end of the stupidest tag team name in history.
Swerve and His Glory. But yes, I agree. And I think that's what this is all about, is just having more teases of them breaking up, not having, like I said, they claim done with stupid shit too. And you need to change something because you can't just do the same shit. It gets stale. It does get stale. So you have to do something to do it. So,
well, listen,
and I want to hear, wait, for the record, I have said in the beginning, I said, this ain't going to be a 10-minute podcast because I know us.
I could have done it in 10 minutes.
No. There's no way in hell. When you said, oh, we got to talk about this, I'm like, if we're debating, no way in hell this is going to be a 10-minute podcast.
10 minutes. All right.
Everything is in 10 minutes.
Did we finish at all, or we're just gonna go? My girlfriend's calling. I gotta call her back. We're almost out of time.
I'm gonna go anyway because we're fucking almost done, and it's been way longer than 10 minutes.
All right, this is over.
Eddie Kingston.
We have such sights to show you.